The votes are in. We're getting a good look at who will be on your November ballot. Our Maria Lissignoli joining us now, tracking the battle to run the state of Minnesota. Maria, good morning.
Yes, good morning. So come November, no matter who wins, it will likely be an historic election in the gubernatorial race. Both major parties will have women as their nominees, meaning we will likely see our first female governor in Minnesota. So first on the Democrat side, Senator Amy Klobuchar was the expected winner and came out with close to 90% of the vote. Last night, she gave a victory speech discussing earning the trust of voters and addressing fraud in our state.
In Minnesota, trust is not given, it's earned. That trust comes with an expectation, which is results. Results that you can see and feel in your life. Results in making life more affordable, making our government work, and getting rid of the fraud. Results in expanding our economy with a growth agenda. Results that will transform our government. And yes, I will be a transformative governor.
Now on the GOP side, it was a much tighter race and one we've been watching for months. But Minnesota House Speaker Lisa Demuth is the projected winner with 43.4% of the vote. Last night, she told us her time as Speaker has prepared her to take on the governor's office.
You know, I think when you look at my political experience, I've only been in for 4 terms, and so that is considered new in the legislature, but it's a message of common sense, and I think what that has done in the tied House, an exact tie in the House of Representatives, getting to serve as Speaker of the House, I've had the honor and responsibility of pulling Democrats and Republicans together and finding a way forward and getting things done for Minnesota. That experience has equipped me for what is next.
Now, Demuth's opponent, Mike Lindell, has said he doesn't think the numbers add up and says he's going to look at them and have a full report today. But with the projected winners as they are now, this is who you are expected to see on your ballot in November. Senator Amy Klobuchar versus House Speaker Lisa Demuth.
All right, we're just under 3 months until we get to November 3rd there. All right, Maria, thank you.
New this morning, the Democratic nominee for the Wisconsin's governor race has been announced. After an incredibly close race, David Crowley is the projected winner for the Democratic primary for the governor's race. The moderate candidate defeated controversial progressive candidate Francesca Hahn. But look at just how close this is, just 0.4 of a percentage point of a difference between these two. Votes were being counted late into the night. It was still too close to call with over 97% of the votes in. Now, Crowley will face Republican Representative Tom Tiffany in November's general election. Tiffany won in a landslide victory to become the GOP nominee for governor with 95% of the vote. Tiffany is a member of the hard-right House Freedom Caucus and has been one of President Trump's allies in denying the results of the 2020 election.
The battle to control the U.S. Senate is heating up, and we now know which candidates will face off in that November general election. This was a tough battle. You've seen it play out on television for weeks between Democratic Representative Angie Craig and Democratic Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan. But in the end, it was the more progressive Flanagan beating the more centrist Craig for that nomination, getting 59% of the vote. Now, Flanagan will face off against Michelle Tafoya. She, a former television sports reporter, she was able to pull in 52% of the vote. Now, this race sure to be an expensive one, even though a Republican has not been elected to the U.S. Senate from Minnesota since 2002. We talked with Democratic analyst Abu Amara last night on the circumstances that the Democratic Party now faces.
It reminds me of the race going on in Texas for the Republicans with Ken Paxton in Texas. Obviously, different circumstances. But my point being, the party who should have control is now going to have to spend resources in that state to defend a state that is basically a lock for its party. I think that's probably also going to be true here.
The race for who will take over for Representative Angie Craig is the only open congressional race in the primary. That's Congressional District 2. It includes the major South Metro suburbs of Burnsville, Cottage Grove, Eagan, Inver Grove Heights, Lakeville, and Woodbury, plus smaller cities and farming areas. It's the most evenly divided district between Democrats and Republicans in Minnesota. Former Minnesota State Senator Matt Little has secured the Democratic nomination. He was able to defeat physician and state Senator Matt Klein and Representative Kayla Burr. Bloomberg. Matt Little will face off against State Senator Eric Pratt in November. Pratt ran unopposed in the district's Republican primary. Pratt is the former vice president of U.S. Bank and has been in office since 2012.
Minnesota's 6th congressional district, House Majority Whip Congressman Tom Emmer delivered an overwhelming victory there. Emmer releasing a statement saying, in part, Minnesotans know what is at stake in November. It's an election of chaos versus common sense, communism versus freedom. And as your congressman, I'll continue standing up for our shared conservative values, working alongside President Trump to combat fraud, lower the cost of living, and advance our America First agenda. Now, Representative Emmer, he will face off against Democrat Doug Chapin in November. Chapin ran unopposed.
As for Minnesota's 5th district, Representative Ilhan Omar also had an overwhelming victory, winning 80% of the vote. Representative Omar will face John Nagel in the November general election. Congressional District 5 covers all of eastern Hennepin County, including the city of Minneapolis, and parts of Anoka and Ramsey counties.